Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Good, Bad, and Ugly of Business. I'm your host, Catryn Becker. In this podcast, we have celebrities, successful entrepreneurs, real estate developers, you name it, because we want to learn what they have learned in their career to make them so successful. What are the failures that they learned from? And can we avoid them or fail through them faster? So today's guest is pretty interesting because, of course, I always bring you the interesting guests, but it's something that is so fundamental to doing business that we kind of just accept that there's these frustration points and come up with workarounds. But what if we could just completely flip it on its head and not have to have the workarounds in the first place? So I have Michael Smith, who is the Chief Marketing Officer of an incredible company called UseVerb. And he's here to tell us something that you might not have thought about, but once you hear it, you won't be able to stop thinking about it. Michael, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me, Catryn.
It is so great to have you here.
Hey, mate. Do you want that real Aussie hang, or you just want to keep it business?
You can put it on really thick because I always love talking to the Australians because I feel like a time traveler.
Cool. Great. Well, we do live in the future.
Absolutely, you sure do. So one of the things, and we'll get into a bit more of what UseVerb does, but gone are the days where you could just walk into a place and kind of like ask if they were hiring, have that sort of face-to-face interaction. There's so much more where if you're looking for a job in today's market, you're going on Indeed or Monster or LinkedIn, and it's all very digital. It's very kind of antiseptic in a way that you're not actually interacting with people. Tell us a little bit about what UseVerb is and how it's changing that.
Look, firstly, I would love to get back to that. There's nothing better than a good handshake, a smile as an introduction, and your word being your bond. That's how I was brought up. And as my dad said, if you want a job, go and walk in there and tell them why you want the job. Now, there's a little bit of a fear factor with that now, and we're not comfortable doing that. And we, like you said, we've digitized everything. We're highly connected, but we're more disconnected than ever as people. So we've just developed a little bit of tech that actually just flips the script a little bit in terms of a resume. And it just adds that point of data back into the application that's you, that actually allows you to make a great first impression.
Okay, we got to go more into detail about that because, I mean, is this like, you know, looking at someone's social media? Like, how are you getting to know them as much?
Okay, so I'll ask you the question. What would you say is the most important part of any hiring process?
I do great in person-to-person interviews because once they meet me, they love me, obviously, and I get the job.
Right, exactly, because there's something you have to offer. There's a spark that you bring, and but there's also that part, can I get to the interview? Now, your time's precious, and also the company that you're going to actually apply to is time's precious as well. And if they're shortlisting all their candidates down to a piece of paper to get an interview with 5 people, that's where you want to get. And that's a fear that I've always had because I've got a technical background, but I've got to get to the interview to sell it. But if you're getting shortlisted out on a piece of paper that says what you are, not who you are, there's something missing. And then when you meet them in person, you're like, wow, there's so much to offer here. Or the person that may have been great in person wasn't great on paper, and you've shortlisted them out. So what we've been able to do is create a little bit of tech. Don't get me wrong, you still got to do the resume, you've still got to do the application, but we do a personality first approach where you actually get to introduce yourself. You become the cover letter. And as we say, cover letters suck because I'll be honest, no one's reading it. People are using ChatGPT to say, hello, Michael is a great worker. He works autonomously. He works really well. Everyone looks the same on paper. The bit that makes it come alive is you. So imagine being able to send someone your resume, but with a video for 27 seconds that says, hey, Catryn, I'm Michael. Nice to meet you. I've got a lot of energy. I work really well with teams. I can back it up. I'd love you to give me a go. I haven't got the experience, but I've got the right attitude. Can you give me a go? I'm coming for an interview. When you see that, we say that you go with your gut. There's something in there that you're like, there's something in there that connects with me. Now, we haven't been able to understand it or articulate it, but it's built into our DNA. It's built in our design that relationally we're like, I can see potential. I can see potential. And seeing is believing. So if we can add that little point of data into the application where you get to see skills and experience in the resume, but you know what? You get to see personality as well. You're going to make a more informed hiring decision, and you're going to hire with confidence. And can you imagine being able to speed date your talent pool? You get to meet all your in less time than an interview. You get to meet them before you meet them in person. And imagine getting to a shortlist where you're like, you've already met these people. Their guards down. They're like, wow, Catryn, I loved your video. Tell me more about yourself. It's not that walking into an interview going, okay, got this. You're not getting a chance to say who you really are. And that's the most important thing in life. We've got to work with people. Okay. If we're really about people, we've got to make our business process about people. So why not bring it into your application process and give them the best opportunity at the front end to say, we're a people first hiring approach. We use Verb.
I love that so much. And I think in today's society, especially with all of the with our social media that we have, with reality TV, that you hear a lot from like celebrities when they're being interviewed that people come up to them and think they know them because they've seen them on TV. So we kind of already have this cultural acceptance of feeling like we know someone just from a video. So it really kind of goes with where we're going. And I think actually for UseVerb, the pandemic was probably the best thing that could happen because everyone's so used to being on screens like this. I mean, we're on Zoom right now, and Zoom was around in 2018, 2019, but nobody knew about it. And so here we are, and I think that's really, there's used to be a barrier for people to show their face, and now I think that's really gone down.
Yeah, I would have loved to have been the salesman that was the Zoom guy. You've got to go and get some sales. Because when COVID hit, man, he made a bucket of money.
Right?
And man, there's a really good story there. They had to change his commission model. But it is so much that, Catryn, it's you're looking at Facebook, it builds relationships. You've got Twitter, it's an opinion. You've got Pinterest, an idea. You've got Instagram to capture a moment. We're trying to replicate what we do naturally. But that's my point. We are so connected digitally that we are so disconnected relationally. And to build any relationship, you've got to be vulnerable. And that's what we've got to protect. So as much as we become weaponized with the phone, I don't know if I want to do that. You're getting to see people for who they really are. And that's your brand. That's what you've got to sell. And that's what you've got to present. And you've got to be comfortable with that. You've got to say, I like who I am. And you're going to like me too, because I am the best person for that job. Not, I need a job, help me, but I actually want to come and work for you. So if you can appreciate that, if there's a job that you actually want, you can go and sit there and put the resume in there and look like everyone else. But if you want to find Where's Wally, which is this comic cartoon we have here in Australia, I don't know if you have it over there, but he's this character in a sea of people, and it's like he does not stand out. But he's very unique. He has a silly hat. He wears big round glasses, and he's got this striped shirt. But you've got to look at every single person, and that takes time. And our time is precious. It's our resource. It's the time that you're giving me to come onto your show. It's the time that we spend. It's the time that it's a unit of effort. And we want to use it well, but we naturally keep saying, I'm busy, I'm busy, I'm busy. And it identifies us. And it's almost like artificial significance. But if we can get our time back, imagine that. You can get your business going. You can get your business growing. Instead of reacting to a problem and putting a job ad up and then trying to shortlist candidates over a 6-week pipeline, you can actually get after it and actually get the right people working for you. You're not looking at 6 months of people going, I don't want to work here anymore. Sorry, I just wanted a job. Thank you very much. I'm moving on. It's like, I love what you're about. And you're hiring the people that want to come work for you. And what we're finding in the data at the moment, the people that do the video want the job. And it's beautiful because they're actually saying, I want to come and work for you. I don't care. I'll do any job. I want to come and work for you because I like who you are. They're the people that come into that door, like you mentioned at the start. Hey, I want to come and work with you. My name's Michael. But what do? Go and do your resume and CV. You get put on the pile. That's why cover letters suck. No one reads it. No one's reading the resume either. It's a mechanism to put into a process. So if we can digitize that and rehumanize recruitment, I think we're onto something in the way that we hire people.
So I did a little experiment in preparation for this interview. And I wanted to get some market research from just general business owners here local to where I am in the Houston area. So there is a Facebook group. It's got like 130,000 people in it. And so I put a post together asking, hey, business owners, what is your biggest frustration with the hiring process? Just to see, no like baiting or anything, just open-ended. And there was 312 responses as of the date of this recording to that post. And the number one thing people said is people don't want to work anymore. So they have people that will send in resumes because it's super easy with the digital to just click, fake cover letter, right? The same cover letter, the same resume, and you can just apply to a bazillion jobs at once. And then the business owners are calling these people and they're not getting callbacks, or people aren't showing up for the interviews. So I love how UseVerb is like the person it needs to at least spend 27 seconds to put their video together. So you get already, it seems like a higher quality candidate because they put in that effort already versus just mass spray and pray.
I give you a case study if you want, but to really hone in where that comment comes from is we've lost seeing the value in people. And that's what inspires. If you've got kids, you're speaking into what they're becoming. And we go to work and it's another conversation, but my past life was very much in oil and gas. It's very much about chasing egos and titles. And it was a great job. I mean, there's a lot of exposure, but it was very much about what you are. It was, Michael, what do you do? Oh, I'm a maintenance coordinator. I'm a team leader. I work here, I travel there. It's like all of this achievement-based verification and validation. But coming back to where we've got to in the market, and you talk about post-COVID, and I think we're moving into a new season in 2024. People want to do something different. They want fresh. I trust you, but I want to verify it. When you say something, can you back it up? Can you qualify it? And I think what we've done is in this Mexican standoff where someone wants a job, they want to work because it's in us. There's a reward for your labor, but there's been too much apathy in this season. And we're just like, meh, I don't care. I'll just sit on the couch and watch Netflix. It's just what it is. It is what it is. There's nothing inspiring that's changing. There's nothing disruptive. So, and on the other side, companies are just saying to them, I want your resume and your CV. I've done that 100 times. Stop asking me for a resume and a CV. I've sent it in. No one got back to me. Now, companies don't mean to not get back to them. But if I can explain to you the current process of hiring is I'm a job seeker and there's a job that I want. So let's say I've got to get a job. I'll go to Seek or Indeed, which is another job board, which is here, which is called Seek. I'm going to go and write my resume. I'm going to go home, get my computer out. I'm going to put my name at the top. I'm going to justify it, put the right font in it, put the right structure in it. I mean, this is hard, just getting it all right in the right format. Do I want red paper? Do I want blue paper? Do I want a picture? Do I want it on the left or the right? There's all of this decision fatigue that comes into putting a document together with a hope and a prayer that you look at it. And they only look at it for 6 seconds, because if you've got a sea of applicants with 1,000 people and we're looking for where's Wally in the picture, I'm not going to look at every single application for the time that you want me to look at it, because I'm just going yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. And that's where we talk about speed dating your talent pool with UseVerb, but I'll get to that. But as you start to review these applications, you're measuring them based on what they look like. What does the paper look like? What's the structure look like? What's the experience look like? There's certain things that we will qualify, whether I'm a hiring manager or I pass it on to a recruitment manager because I don't have time, because I want you to set me up the interview. As it goes through Seek, I will now load that into the system. And what they've got, these really cool ATS systems and AI bots that scan it and says, do you know what? Wow, these are all the jobs you can do. And it spreads all these jobs out. It says, wow, there's 50 jobs I can apply to. So what do? We've been reduced to the double tap, which is the like button. Yes, yes, I want to do that. Yes, yes, I can do this. All right, I've done my bit. I've applied for 50 jobs. Wow, how validating was that? But then we wait. But as a company, all these applications are coming in and you're like, all right, that one person that applied to 50 jobs cannot do 50 jobs. So you appreciate as a company owner, you've got to now process this. You've got to shortlist this. And as you start ringing up these candidates, hey, Catryn, I got your job application. Can you tell me a bit more about yourself? First thing you're going to say is, sorry, which job did I apply to? How much are you paying? I'm not interested. And we're like, okay, now there is someone in there that wants to come work for you. How are you going to find them? And this is the bit that UseVerb brings to the table. It allows you to stand out. It disrupts the process. You've got to do the video for the job that you want. So you're not going to get 1,000 applicants. You maybe get 50. But you know what? There's 50 people that want to work for you. But one of the tests that we did with some of our senior development reps for our sales team in America is we actually put a job ad up, and we actually had over 1,000 applications come through. And I started shortlisting these resumes. And I was like, oh my gosh, I just want a picture. I just want a picture. I want to see what these people are like. And then you start reading and it's just like, they're not coming to life. And what starts to happen is they start to blend. And all they start to look the same. They start to read the same, write the same. And whether you can back it up or not, they both sound the same. So what we ended up doing is we created a job ad on our UseVerb platform. And we said, hey, we would love to meet you. You've made it to the second round. So we grabbed all of those applicants and put them in through our system. And it filtered out all that noise for the people that were hitting the quick apply button, for the people that don't get back to you, for the people that actually don't want to go to that next step. And it filtered out the talent. The talent was, we got about 53 or 54 applicants come into our bucket. But you know what? The people that put the effort in actually wanted to come work for us. They actually wanted to say, I love what you guys are about. And that video showed us so much more than having a sea of applicants that I've got to process. And you can appreciate that engine when people process it. An email comes in, you grab the applicant, you put them into your spreadsheet, you write the names down, you put all their phone numbers in there, and you start calling them and you start ringing them up. That's non-productive time. That's indirect cost to your business. Now,
Absolutely.
whether it's $1,000 or $500 for the job ad on Seek or Indeed, that starts to add up as a business. And when you get to that point as a hiring manager and those 5 people come in, the hiring manager is like, is that it? Is that the best that's in the market right now? And they're like, that's all I could find. And when you feel validated or accustomed to a process that is, we're measuring people based on what they are, not who they are, that's what you get. And if we can just add that little bit of flavor and speak life into that marketplace, people can start representing themselves to say, do you know what? I've got the qualifications, I've got the skills to pay the bills, but hey, here I am. This is what I'm about. I can bring in that next level. I can bring that extra dimension that you want and take your business to the next level. Love it. Let's do it.
Yeah, I know a couple of people who are like fractional HR people, right? So they work with companies that don't have their own HR department or have a small HR and they're supporting it in some of their things. And some of that is the recruitment piece of it. And so I know through my connection with these people, kind of what they've seen in how many hours it can take someone to go through all of those applications and then get to the phone interview and be like, that was a waste of my time, you know? So I love putting it in front, but right, pat on the back. But one thing that we got to clear up, before we can move forward, because it's unclear to me. UseVerb. What does this name mean and where did it come from?
It's a play on words, firstly. I use verb. Now, the main part is the verb. Now, verb is what? It's a doing word. Now, you can tell people how awesome you are, but if you do something about, what are you doing about it? Show me. It's the verb. It's the action. It's use verb. Use what you have to show people who you are. That's what it's about. It's a play on words. It's got meaning. It's got backing. I get it all the time. What is use verb? Is it use a verb? Use verb? Use verb? It's there to also disrupt. Okay. It's there for you to impregnate into your brain. It's like, what is this use verb? I've got to use what I do. You know, I've got to use action. So it's really about the verb. It's send me a verb. The video is a verb. It's show me who you are. That is where if you really want to target this down, the video is the verb. Send me a verb. But we're saying use verb to show me who you really are.
I love that. I love.
So once you like, okay, I get it. It's going to be a household name, and it's one of those things that as it starts to come into flavor, it'll be those hashtags. Hey, send me a verb. Send me some action. I want to see it. So it's really just trying to demonstrate. If you really want to. Even if you're a great basketball player, you can tell me or you can show me. Send me a verb.
Oh, that's so good. So you have a lot of energy. You are obviously very passionate about this. Have you always been this passionate at work or this passionate about the hiring process? Kind of lead us back a little bit. And if you want to go back into the oil and gas days, compare and contrast, we can absolutely go there. But it's just this deep well of energy. Like, where is this coming from?
Look, this is just me. It's just, I really love people, and it's always been in my nature, whether through youth or seniors, or that we've got a part to play in the world, and we've got to connect people. And I think the gift that I've been given is to inspire and basically see something in someone that they can't see for themselves, and helping people transition through that. So very much with my journey, even with my past life and where I'm at, Paul's always been a very close friend of mine. We were school buddies. We grew up together, and we had very different career paths, but we always had a mutual respect for each other in terms of wanting to do something big, do something great. And Paul always said to me growing up, "You're going to work for me one day." And I said, "All right, whatever." I've got my oil and gas career, and I've worked for all the giants. I've worked for, there's a big company here called Woodside. You've got ConocoPhillips. I've worked for Modec, Maersk, and most recently working for Shell for 8 years. But I got to the end of all that, and in that pursuit of getting to a level where you can actually tell people what validates you. It's like, I work for Shell. Wow, Michael, you work for Shell. And it's like, it just didn't have its ring or its zing, you know? It's like, you've constantly got to be telling people who you are by what you are. And that shouldn't validate people, because you take that away, what are you left with? You're left with you. And we've got to bring that back. So being journeying with that and traveling a lot and being away from family and having that pursuit, you get to a reckoning. It's almost like a Moses moment, burning bush moment, where you're like, what am I doing? You know, and I think COVID did a bit of disruption to everyone. It's like, am I happy with the normal that I had? Is there a new normal? And you can sit with that for a long time and do nothing with it, and you will fall back into the pattern. Or you can act on that and go, do you know what? I actually want something different. And obviously, like I said, Paul being a good friend with me, and I could see the things that were developing. And Paul's got a very decorated past. He's a top 40 under 40. He's an Ernst & Young Award Engineer of the Year twice. He's like an Elon Musk of Perth. He's a big thinker. He had a very successful robotics company with his brother Grant as well. Big. But then always journeying with that and coming to a place where Paul's like, I think you need to come work for me now. And I'm like, what? What do you want me to do? I said, I don't do all that stuff. And he's like, I just need you, Mike. So it was almost like as much as I was in a position where I was identified through what I was, Paul was seeing me for who I was. And it was just confirmation at that time when the stars were aligning and he had this kairos moment. It's like, this is where I need to be. And walking into this, it's like, I don't know if you watch X-Men, you get the Phoenix, you know, it just I've unlocked it. And it connects with you. And when you find your passion and your purpose and it connects with you, it unlocks you. So all I can say to anyone listening to your podcast, Catryn, there's something inside of them that is eating them up, and they've got to do something about it. And they've got to stop doing the 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, and coming home from work going, I can't keep doing this. You've got to sit in that space and get out of the busy and make time to sit and reflect and go, what does that mean? What do I actually want to do? What does the next step look like? Don't try and overachieve and look at the big business model. Just look at the next step. I'm actually going to go home tonight and do a bit of research on marketing. I'm going to do a bit of research on mechatronics. I'm going to do a bit of research. Just get an understanding. And as you start to lean into that, you start to develop. You start to get understanding. And with more understanding, you've got to have more understanding. And then you start walking in opportunities that says, do you know what? I've got a now platform to step into that connects with me and connects with my why. And when you turn up to work, it's not a Monday to Friday anymore. We are going to change the world, Catryn. This is a multi-billion-dollar company no one's heard of yet. It's been engineered in stealth for 6 years. We've got no venture capital. We've got no seed funding. It's bootstrapped by Paul. And it's an amazing idea where he just wants to go, I want to do this the right way. We want to revel with Facebook. We want to revel with Microsoft. We want to meddle with Meta. We want to be that company that speaks life back into the marketplace and disrupt it in a real way that goes, this is real, this is true, and it's about people. We've got to get back to people, but we can do it well. We can do it with some tech, and we can actually get the people that actually want to come work for us to help us grow. And I think that's where we need to go in 2024. We've got big things happening in 2024, and everyone's just tired of the same old.
Feels it, right? Everyone feels 2024 is, there's more. There's so much more for us in 24.
We've come out of 2022 with this, do as you're told. All right, trust me. All right, I trust you. 2023, I don't trust you. I don't trust what you're saying. I don't believe it. I feel it. And we're sitting here hibernating. And we spent a lot of time getting the house back in order in 2023, like licking our wounds, getting ready. 2024, we're feeling fresh, you know, the harvest is ready. And I think everyone needs to step into that going, I'm not going back to that. And this is what I meant by that trust and verify. I'm gonna hear you, trust me, cool, but I'm gonna verify that. Who said that? Why did you say that? And when we start talking about our product, I keep saying to people, trust me, I can verify that, because you're going to go back to using Indeed. You're going to go back to using Seek. And if you want to use that, great. It's a bolt onto our platform that actually allows you to find your applicants, but UseVerb is going to help you find talent. And even with recruiters, they're going to start using this as an onboarding screening tool. We've got to get to that part, and the end-to-end interface with allows you to speed date your talent pool, meet all your candidates. I think when we start to see the people in the marketplace instead of the products in the marketplace, we've got a cool piece of tech that's going to unlock that for businesses. It's going to help you grow, hire with confidence, and you're going to get on with it. And if you get on with it, imagine if you got your time back. What would you do with it? We do it 9 to 5, Monday to Friday. If you got your time back, I've got kids. I don't want to do 9 to 5. I want to get the job done. I want to work hard. I want to play even harder. I want to be home with my kids, kicking the footy, going for a swim, going to the beach. That's where our time needs to be. So when you really start to prioritize time, where is your time going? That's where your focus is. And it's not because you choose to put it there. It's that it is there. So if it's all in work and you want to release that time, you've got to look at ways to innovate. You've got to look at ways to disrupt. This is the opportunity to change the way that you work to get your time back.
Yeah. Well, there's a book that I read by a man named Andrew Chen, and it's called The Cold Start Problem. And he worked with Uber when it got started. And of course, Uber doesn't work if you don't have riders and if you don't have drivers. You need both ends. And so he talks a lot about like how you get people on board with this. So, you mentioned being the next kind of Facebook, not in that sort of way, but how are you guys coming to terms with that, especially when you're talking about this has been in stealth mode, for 6 years. So what's the unveiling process for UseVerb in the world?
Yeah, it's a strategy. I can definitely share that with you. Now we're not big on conventional methods of
obviously
like putting ads on Facebook, and then what happens with a lot of those bigger firms, that have that hype, it's that startup hype, it's even that crypto hype where it's like, we can do this, but we haven't done it yet. I've got a really good idea, but there's 99% hard work. That brings hype and people love it. And that's where we've come from, that season of I trust you. And it's like, no, you can't back it up now. All we're trying to say is we've spent 6 years in stealth getting the product right, testing it. And it was only until sort of mid last year we've got a product that works. All right, so very much around Q3 last year, we just tested the market. We've got a proof of concept. Let's bounce around and see what people think of it. Just with me and a small team going out to market here locally in Perth, we've signed up over 150 companies. Wow. And all it was word of mouth. It's the best form of advertising where people say, have you heard of UseVerb? It works. It's amazing. So we're trying to catch all of that testimonial stuff and getting those videos put together to say, these guys are using it. Don't trust me, trust them. You can verify that. So end of last year, we're basically saying we've got a product that works. We've done the one-to-one. We're now looking at the one-to-many, and that's what 2024 is about. That's now starting to get the word out. We're starting to really ramp up our marketing strategy. We've got some stuff happening we've got a big write-up happening in our local paper, which is 7 West and the Business Insider, which actually is a 4-page feature article with at a leadership summit. We've got some stuff happening on radio. We've got some stuff happening with some other customers where we're getting franchises on board. And we've also got our growth team. Now, our growth team is our heart and soul of the company, because with all the verticals that we've hit, whether it's real estate, it's logistics, it's institutions, it's coffee shops, it's bars, it's restaurants, it's schools, it's universities, it's law firms, we've hit them all. We've hit every single vertical. Where we thought it would just be retail hospitality, because that's a low, low skill, high
turnover. Yeah.
It's a high turnover, and it's like, I don't want a career. I want a job Monday. I don't want to have to wait 4 weeks with an application that you bring up 4 weeks later and say, I've got another job. We need that movement. And I've got a story behind that. But what we're getting to in this new year is our growth team. So now that we've got our growth team sort of set up, we've got that sort of looking at how we network that. We really want to push into the American market. It works. We've got some strong testimonial authority here in Australia. It takes a bit of time here in Australia. But one thing we love about America is like, yeah, let's give it a go. And you've just got more people that are more inviting to new ideas. And it's come from Australia. It's good. It's got that authority. But with our growth team, just like you, Catryn, you've got people that you know. And we've gotten away from, it's not what you know, it's not who you know, it's who they know. And we've got a really good, attractive growth partner program where people like yourself, Catryn, can represent us. You work for us, you work with us, and you've got a community of people that have this problem. We don't want to come top down and say, use this. We're basically looking for ambassadors in areas on the east and the west coast. We've got some people starting up in South Africa as well who are doing some big stuff over there. But basically, you know someone that has a hiring problem. And we're basically saying, hey, have you heard of UseVerb? Check it out. It's pretty cool. It's a new hiring approach that's changing the way people apply to jobs. Have you used Indeed? What's that costing you? $1,000? That's expensive. This is for a fraction of the cost. This is a business processing tool that's going to help you find candidates, people that actually want to come work for you. All right, I'll give it a go. And with that, we're offering a very attractive commission model without all the bells and whistles that if you're able to sign someone up on our platform, we're offering those growth partners a discount that only they can extend to their community and marketplace. But then we're giving them a very attractive commission model for every month that customer is on board. They're getting a percentage of the sign up. So it's an easy side hustle that allows them to represent us really well, connect with a pain point and a solution that works. It's just a subscription model like Netflix. You set up your company page, you do all your job ad, it's set up, you connect it with your market and you're done. And then it starts to work in the background for you and you start getting people to apply. The fact that that's working and it sells, there's an authority when you share that with someone else. Man, you got to use this UseVerb. It's so good. And as I said, the 150 companies that are using us are still on board, referring us to more and more people. And I'm at that point now where people are saying, hey, you're the UseVerb guy. I need to talk to you. It's not a cold lead anymore. The authority's there and it's not coming from me anymore. We're not looking for those early adopters. We've done that. We've actually changed our whole pricing model to say, this thing works. It's cheap. It's a fraction of the cost of what you're paying, and it's going to set up your business to help you grow. And they're like, I'm interested, because they haven't heard it from me. They've heard it in the marketplace. They've heard people talking. So we're creating that word of mouth, yeah, I know. It's like when someone puts something on Facebook and they're like, I know. It's like, I didn't even know about this. What is this UseVerb? What do you mean it's 6 years in the making? What do you mean it's going into America? How come I haven't heard of this? It's different. Our whole approach is different in the way that we're disrupting things. And when people start to meet people like myself and Paul and Grant and Emma, they're like, these are amazing people. You're not going to a level 1, level 2 support center in Asia where there's people that you've got to get escalated to. There's people behind this business that really believe that we can change the world and do it in a really cool way.
We're kind of coming to the end of the interview time, but I just love how you mentioned, the main players in there, and Paul is the CEO, just to make sure that we give him his due, his kudos there. But
I know on the Paul that he's in Texas. Paul is living in Texas now, and that's that part of the business that is growing now. I hope you get to meet him.
Absolutely. And so I think what's really interesting is just, there's so much of the root of culture of you take care of your people will take care of your customers will take care of your business, right? Like there's that thread that we have here. And I love that UseVerb helps to bring a culture, like you have almost, not necessarily more control, but you have just a different level of control and being able to see it all to keep that culture that you're looking for. And it sounds like the people at UseVerb have such a great culture as well, people who are really passionate about what they're doing and helping others to bring that to bear. So I really love that so much.
Yeah, Paul's always 10 steps of everyone in the business, and it does create a little bit of tension, but he's very intentional in the vision. I mean, even Paul's even looking at his space program beyond UseVerb. I mean, he's a big thinker, but he makes sure that he's got the right people backing him. We are setting a stage for him because it says through lack of vision, my people perish. Paul's got a big dream, and it's a real dream, and it connects with your why. And I think when he has the right people working for him, they become part of his foundation. And he wants to have people that can create the tension within the ways of working that allow us to understand where he's going, what he's doing. And when you know someone that's leading the charge that you can back up and you can authorize, you're like, I trust you. I'm with you. What are we doing? And culture has always been a good definition for me. It's the habits of the people. So If you want to change habits, you change the way people think, change the way people think, change the way they act, change the way they act, change the way they feel. You get on with it. You get the destiny, the character, and then you start to dream again. So with what we're doing here, it's really nice to sort of come home every night and the kids are like, even my son and my daughter and I've got 3 kids. Dad's got a nap. It's like, Dad's got a nap. Dad, what's UseVerb? And I've told Paul, we're going to have a Formula One team. We're going to go big. And we're going to do it the right way. And we're going to continue to maintain who we are through every single level so that we can be an authority in the marketplace. We can speak life back in the marketplace. We can be an alternative, and we can do it the right way. So I really encourage yourself, Catryn. We love having you on board and being a part of what we're doing. But I want to point everyone that watches Catryn, go and ask her more about UseVerb. I'm actually here to support Catryn and her market and her people. We catch up quite regularly, and I'm so grateful to be on the show. But Catryn, we are here to make you look good. And I just want to let all your supporters know that we are backing Catryn. So please reach out to her to know more about UseVerb. We've got some really cool packages, but it's all with Catryn. She's got a great bunch of people that's following her. And if you want any more information, Catryn, from us, we can give you demos, we can give you more time. I want to do more with you, want to do life with you. So we really appreciate you being a part of what we're doing here and spreading that word and making things great again.
Well, I appreciate it, Michael. I mean, I know I was attracted to UseVerb just from the point of that it's different and it's solving problems to make people's lives better. And that's what I'm all about, making people better, helping people to be seen is something that I believe in, and that we're all such amazing, unique individuals. And I love any sort of process that supports that. So that's part of why I love UseVerb. And then I got to meet all of you great people, and I was like, wow, it just keeps getting better and better.
Right.
So
yep. Anytime. Look, sorry?
Final word to you. Any message you haven't said yet that you'd like to wrap up with?
Everyone's got something special inside of them. We've just got to show people who we really are and stand on it, represent it, and say it loud.
I love it.
Best version of you.
I love it. Well, thank you so much. Thank you for time traveling to the past for this recording.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
And to the listeners, thank you guys so much for being here. I appreciate your support. If you enjoyed this episode, please make sure to like, share, and subscribe so that we can continue to bring more amazing guests such as this one. Until next time, everyone, take care.
See ya.